Hello everybody, I'm going to be showing off some more BattleTech figures that I have completed. And we got a little bit of a different setup today. Hopefully it still works alright. And we're going to get started. So, I've got a couple of different... Well, actually I've got 1, 2, 3, roughly 4 factions that I've got some mechs for here that I'm going to be showing off this time. So these are more of my Anatolia's Angels. I've got an extra lance of these now, so I do have 8 mechs in total for them. So this is a Warhammer that I did up for them. Got the nice camouflage on top there. The lasers in the torso. Targeting computer up top there because this one has been refitted with clan tech. These here are the ERPPCs. Big old gun arms. Got a bit of wear and tear on the legs there for some detail. SRM6 on top. A little more wear on the back. A good detail on this one. And then I did keep with the it'll focus, light blue. Oof. Come on now. There we go. I did keep with the light blue cockpit to match the other Angels. So there's my Warhammer. And I think I'll just set these here. Then I got another stock mech. I say stock, but it'll be upgraded with clan tech as well. This is a Valkyrie. Oop. Valkyrie light mech. LRM 10 in the torso there. Medium laser. Although this one's probably got a medium pulse laser now. And I did the antenna up in the kind of bronze sort of color, similar to the dragon that I had done before. Also keeping in line with the other ones with the gray joints, and then the little bit of wear on the feet and such. And the way I do these ones is pretty simple. I'll do an entire base coat in Abaddon black, and then for what I'm calling the grasslands camo, since it's a little different than forest camo, on the top halves of them, usually the torso, the head, and the shoulders, and then like lower arms. This one I went all the way down the arm with that one because I wanted to give it a little more color since it's a bit of a smaller mech. Basically I take I think it's Cadian green, I want to say, but basically like an olive drab citadel green, and then I'll put that over the top of them, and then I'll do like a bright neon green, and I'll just kind of do that like lightly, but that's where all those cool streaks in there come from, like the lines and stuff. You can see there more of them there. And then to round it back together, I take like a dark, like a pine green kind of color, and then put that over the top. So it marbles it really nicely. And if I have any touch up, usually I just put more of the olive drab. This here is a custom mech design. I call it the Buzzsaw, because it kind of reminds me of the Star Wars Buzz droids. And in the back there, I got little tanks. I would imagine of like fuel or something to help it run faster. And then those are both SRM6s on either side there. And then it's got Jenner legs. I can't remember what the groin is from, the waist. I forget which mech I took that off of. I think it might actually still be a Jenner. But yeah, the SRM packs are off of a Jenner 2C. And then these little arm bits here are from an old Dark Age mech. I think it was like a battle armor. And the torso itself, that's like that cool kind of plane cockpit, maybe like a helicopter. That's actually from an old Monster Apocalypse figure, which used to be a helicopter, but I cut the rotor off the back, and then I put those nice little engine bits on the side there. These ones were on it, and I left them because I thought they looked cool. But I wanted it to have this kind of sleek sort of look, almost like an Apache, like the attack helicopter. I do love the way they look. So I wanted to have like a light mech that was fast, but a little more sturdy than my Katie did to work for these guys. So I figured that this little guy would be great. Plus a little more punch with the SRM packs, being able to just run up and smash something with those. And then I got one more custom for these guys. This here, I call this thing the Phantom Raptor, because it looks very bird-like with the kind of talon feet and the, again, kind of arched cockpit, which is the torso and head off of a storm crow. And then the arms are actually from a Falconeer, which I believe is a Davian mech. And then the torso, the waist down there is actually from an Ost Scout, of all things. And these legs are again Dark Age parts that I have used. And yeah, again with the same camo applications, and the legs being black. I think they look really sleek. I would have named it after a cat, with having these almost like jaguar-esque legs, but I like the name Phantom Raptor because it's like it's a bird of prey that was designed and then, forgotten about until the technology was recovered or recreated by this faction. And now it's got like, stealth armor or something. But these are designed to be both ERPPCs and then a medium pulse laser and targeting computer. So basically, fast-moving, middleweight sniper of sorts. Heavy recon kind of roles probably for this one. Yeah, it was a quick mod, honestly. It was, I already kind of knew what I wanted to do. So I think it looks pretty sleek. It moves really fast. And then for Alpha Strike, I've just been using, I think, Grendel stats for this thing, because it hits about the same if you had equipped it with, 2 PPCs, and instead of using its like missile pack, it's got a battery of lasers and stuff. Yeah, most of these figures and stuff, I play Alpha Strike with them. This one is the first of its kind that I'm going to be working on and I'll be showing off the rest of them here in due time. But this is a proto-mech. This is a custom proto-mech that I have built, again, from scrap parts, mostly Dark Age, but there's a couple other things mixed in here too. So the head itself is a Space Wolves backpack piece, actually, but it looks like a robot head, so it's perfect. And then this little arm-mounted missile pack there, that's actually from that same helicopter that I used to make the buzzsaw, so I'm just repurposing multiple parts. The arms and the torso and the hands are all Reaper bones, Reaper miniatures parts. So the hands are actually off of a harpy. The arms are both from a space explorer hero, and then the torso itself is from a like a science fiction security guard. And then the gun on the side here is off of a Vulcan. And then the waist down there in the middle, that is off of a Reaper security drone, I think. And then the legs are, again, repurposed Dark Age parts. Those were off of, I forget what it was, but it was another battle armor. But in this scale, for a 15-ton proto-mech, that works nicely. And I just use the stats for the sprite for this thing, because it represents it having an LRM pack or laser based off of its configuration. So, but I call this thing the Lycan, because it is very clearly meant to be a werewolf. There you go. And we'll do this one next. This here's a Panther. Repaint on this one. Actually, this was my old one that I had for my Steiner forces, but I decided that, you know, Steiner being Steiner probably wouldn't have too many Panthers, so I'll use him for my guys instead. So the base being black, it is actually a mercenary group Panther, so designed to be able to be used with any faction, but it does have my lucky number on there. And the nice PPC arm. I repose most of my Panthers with the arm up like that in a wrist fire kind of style. Got the SRM4 still in the torso. But yeah, wanted to paint it up all black like this for my own personal reasons. So just a nice simple repaint there. And this one is actually my most recent mech that I've done. I'm really proud with the way this turned out. This is Shadowhawk. And speaking of the Shadowhawk, it is now one of my favorite mechs ever. I had said recently, when I was doing these videos, that the Shadowhawk was a nice mech, and I liked how it looks and everything, but I didn't use it very much. Well, that is words of the past. This thing is absolutely gorgeous, and I love it. To do this bright blue, what I did was I took Kador Sky Citadel, and then I mixed that with literally just some Corax White, and just kind of lightened it to the perfect sky blue color. And then I put that over the standard metal dry brush that I do. And then outline specific parts in white to help it pop just a little more. So, medium lasers on the wrists, LRM5 in the torso, SRM2 on the head, and this one being a unique variant, I did it up to have a Gauss rifle over the back. So, gone is the puny AC5. Now we have a real gun. And of course, BattleTech. So, we got a targeting computer in there too. Most of my stuff is going to be outfitted with BattleTech. The only stuff that isn't is going to be either my Steiner forces or my mixed tech, because that'll have a little bit of Inner Sphere and BattleTech kind of mixed together. So, here's my Shadowhawk. And I want to show off some ones that I did for some friends here, which will then lead into my next faction. So these are, again, probably more mercenary core. But this is one that I did from one of my buddies, who is one of my absolute best friends. He's been super supportive to me, so I wanted to make this to represent him when we play on the tabletop. And I actually went through like a ton of different mech choices, and he said he liked the look of this one the best. So I painted it up with his specifications. And again, it's got my lucky number on there so that we all kind of match. But this is a Shadow Cat, if you didn't know. It's a very nice medium mech. Was used a lot by Smoke Jaguar, and I believe Jade Falcon and Ghost Bear were the other two that used it a lot. I'm not 100% sure on that. I mean, it's a clan Omni mech, so any clan would be happy to have one, especially one that moves this fast. It's kind of like, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, the Shadow Cat here is kind of like the Shadow Hawk. Because this is an Inner Sphere design originally, and this is a clan design. But they both have the same principle of fast, medium mech platform with one nice big gun. So yeah. And then here, this is another one that I did for another buddy of mine. Again, painted up to his specifications. Got a gold visor up in there. That's not something I do very often, but it turned out really nice. And then he wanted heat scoring on the barrels there, so I put that on there, and it looks real nice, I think. It's maybe not perfect, but you can tell what I'm going for, at least. Again, with the number on the leg. But this is a Man of War. That's what it's called. And I do believe it was designed by Clan Wolf. But it is a Clan Assault mech, I do believe. I haven't. I say I do believe because I have not played it as much as some of the other mechs. But again, given the choice of everything that I had, he liked the look of this one the best. It's got auto cannons and then missile packs. Missile packs underneath those there. And those are surprisingly effective. This thing's pretty smashy on the tabletop. Alright, and then for the last one for my friends for now, this here's Luna. And I got the Ghost Bear logo on there because she has been officially adopted into my Ghost Bear forces. So it's a Hellhound, and I have specifically designed this one as a custom a long time ago, actually. I made this when I first got into BattleTech, myself anyway. But this missile pack here, those are all SRMs, and each one's an actual missile, so I don't even remember the number of them that was on there, but it was like basically a giant, a jury-rigged SRM package that it could get right up to something and then just blow it to 1,000 pieces with all the missiles. And then I turned all the lasers red as well, so it matches the Hellhound aesthetic. And I painted her up like a specific character. And you'll probably be able to tell what that is. And I did sky blue for the cockpit, which is cool because it actually matches the way that I ended up going with my Ghost Bear forces. So, yeah, Hellhound. I am pleasantly surprised. I actually played that one the other night in a big old game at our local game store, and I was like, wow, this thing is like really sturdy. It's not the most powerful, it's not the craziest, but it's just a really nice sturdy mech. I got some Ghost Bear elementals here. These little guys are awesome and annoying as hell to fight. But they're very, very useful to have on hand if they're on your team. So, pretty easy to paint. Honestly, they go really quick. Just getting that little line on them for the visors, that's the only difficult part. But once you do that, like, it's literally just, dot, dot for the knees or shoulders if you're doing that. And then brush some metal over the guns and the claws, and you're pretty much good. But yeah, some Ghost Bear elementals. We got a Ghost Bear Fire Moth. I love the Fire Moth. It is one of, if not the best, light mechs. I like it more than the Locust because I feel like it does what the Locust wants to do better. Locust is a classic, don't get me wrong, but the Fire Moth it's so much more stabby, and we play a lot of Alpha Strike, as I have said, so this thing in particular is a very utilitarian mech to have in your lineup. The decals there, we actually print off on regular paper sheets little tiny rows of images of the Ghost Bear logo, and then we just dab a tiny bead of super glue on there and then carefully fuse it to the top by applying a very delicate amount of pressure, and it is now part of the mech. Basically it becomes a top layer over the clear coat, and you want to make sure it's dry before you do that, but once you're done, it looks really good. So bunch of medium lasers and then a flamethrower, and I like to think that that's either a targeting computer or a spotlight on the top there. So there's a Fire Moth. We'll do this big boy next. This here is a classic Rolpartha metal Warhammer 2C, and this one has been in my collection for a very long time. Actually, I've had this, I think, since I was a kid, but I've now repainted it in its final form as a Ghost Bear Warhammer 2C, and ERPPCs for the arms, medium lasers on the torso there, and then SRM packs over the shoulder. And yeah, I mean, you can tell that it's an older model, because if I take the, like, oh, here, better example. Shadowhawk again. You can tell that it's like, this is supposed to be an assault mech, I think. I'm pretty sure. And then if you, put them side by side, it's kind of like, it's a little thinner than maybe what it should be. But that was, back in the days before they really fleshed out the design elements and stuff. But I love this thing. I put caution stripes on top of the missile pods again as well. I do love that. Putting caution stripes on missile pods. Don't know why, but it's just a design feature that I really like to put onto things. Almost looks like boombox speakers on the back. Probably about as loud as it blasts its way through the battlefield. Yeah, classic Warhammer 2C. Speaking of classics, this here is also, and this is a original. Yeah, this is a 1998 FASA Rolpartha Pouncer. It's got the metal base and everything still. Very solid. I've repainted this one a few times as well. You can kind of tell with the layering there, but it's all right. She still looks plenty good next to the other Ghost Bears. And I love these old metal models too. I really do. Like a lot of the classic designs and stuff, they're very chunky. But at least for the clan mechs and stuff, I still love them. The like some of the old Inner Sphere mechs and stuff, not as much. Like I have said it before, the Stalker and, like the Catapult and stuff, those really did need a redesign. I'm sure there's probably some people out there who really like the old designs, and, more power to you. But myself, I like the visual sleek design that a lot of these have, where they're more angled and stuff, even just in like the top plating and stuff. Because I've done other BattleTech models before where I showed off like the new Catalyst Pouncers. Those are in my Seahorse video for my clan Seahorse. You can see what they look like in comparison to this one here, where it's very almost octagonal in its design, whereas the new one has like it's very circular, like the angles and stuff aren't as harsh. But I actually like these old boxy PPCs on the arms and stuff too, so it all just comes down to a design preference, visual aesthetics. This is a Shadowhawk 2C, again, that I have done for Ghost Bear, which when I saw the original art in the source book for Ghost Bear, I was like, okay, I gotta have a Shadowhawk 2C, because they have it front and center on the art for those in there. So I was like, yeah, gotta have one of them. And I tried to leave a little more metal on some of these Ghost Bear ones too, to have them have kind of a bit more of an industrial sort of look. Because if you don't know, Ghost Bear is really big into like setting up mining operations and stuff too. So it would make sense to me that they'd have a bit more of a simplistic kind of paint scheme. So I went for the, white as the primary and then black as the accent color for these, to have kind of a very utilitarian, but almost like an Arctic military look going on. And then this one's just got lasers on each arm, on the head there, and then SRM packs on the side torsos there. Looks very pretty as well. Very adaptable. And then here we got the linebacker, which is currently my mech that I'm piloting for our Ghost Bear campaign that we're doing during Clan Invasion. So this is my personal ride here. I do love the linebacker. I wanted to pick this one because I was like, okay, well, I don't want to pilot the Jaguar because I want to use the Jaguar for my smoke Jaguars, and a lot of the other ones were nice, but like, you know, everybody likes the Timberwolf. I wanted to do something a little different because I like the Timberwolf, but it's not personally my favorite. And that's always the mech that my dad has really used when he plays. So I wanted to pick something that had a similar, you know, aspect to like the Pouncer here, since that's traditionally more the type of mech that I've played. And this is basically like the heavy version of that. So I wanted it to be something survivable. I got the missile packs and the painted. Those were kind of hard to do. And I put black over the top of them as well so that they contrast really nicely. But yeah, I wanted to have something survivable, but also be a heavy Omni mech so that I could still deploy my elementals there. Get them to work with the nice heavy design. I'm also working on, I haven't decided which faction I'm going to paint them up for, but I'm doing points of 5 gnome battle armor for my clans, and I haven't decided if I want to do them for Ghost Bear or for Clan Seahorse yet. I haven't made up my mind. I might end up doing them for both. But I want to get it to the point where I can have 5 squads of 5 each. Here's a custom one here. I ended up painting this one up for Ghost Bear by a recommendation from a friend. This is, I call this one the Cub, which I know there's already a mech called the Bear Cub, which is, I'm pretty sure, a Ghost Bear design. But I wanted to have something that was as fast as a fire moth, but had the sturdiest possible armor for a light mech, and then have like batteries of lasers and missiles. So it's got an SRM-4, 2 medium lasers there, 2 medium and 2 small lasers on the other side of the torso, and an ER flamer on that arm there, and that is off of a Vulcan. The arms are from a Spectre. The legs are off of a Fire Falcon. The waist is off of a Jenner 2C, and the torso is cobbled together parts from Dark Age mechs, a Fire Falcon, Reaper sprue, battle armor, and then those little white, like, shoulder plates, I guess you could say, over the top there, are both off of Locust. Those are like the armor plates that go over the top of the machine guns normally, but I snipped them off, flipped them backwards, and now it looks kind of like, I wanted to try and make it look kind of like a Euler or a Kit Fox, and just have it be like a similar design. So, given that all clan mechs have 2 names, both usually mythological from the Inner Sphere side and then animal from the clan side, I wanted to name it the Cub, and then have the Inner Sphere name for it be the Dragur, which, if you ever play Skyrim, the Dragur are the zombies, like the zombie Nords, and they do actually exist in Norse mythology as well. So there's that. I'll give him another 360 there, so you can kind of see all the angles. I liked building this one a lot. It was really fun to construct. I love constructing custom mechs. The buddy of mine that's piloting this is actually, they're actually husband and wife there. So they're my best friends right now for sure. And I wanted to get him into, something a little bigger, because he's definitely somebody who's going to be getting stuff done. Have it be a bit more utilitarian than a light mech, but he was still kicking a ton of ass with this thing. So definitely, definitely a good choice. So we're going to probably get him set up in a Thor, because that is the exact type of mech that he would like to pilot. And this here is actually not a mech that I have done. This is actually a mech that my father made for me when I was a child. But I wanted to show it off here because it is part of my Ghost Bear forces. So this is a Titan, but we statted it out to be a Titan 2C. So he painted these really cool decals onto it by hand. He did this like metal blue kind of color over the whole thing. You can see it really well there in the light. It looks really good. He's a much better painter than I am, but I learn more every time I paint. So see the Ghost Bear logo there. And we actually found a way to set it up. I don't even remember how we did it, but we actually set it up with 4 ERPPCs and then missile racks over each torso. So I don't even remember how we did it, but we did. And I used this for years. This was my mech as a kid. Which, being a kid and piloting an assault mech, it's one hell of a power high. But I honestly liked it so much because the face reminded me of Optimus Prime, who was probably my number 1 childhood hero. So yeah, if I pilot an assault mech, that is what I would pilot right there. At least that's what I always piloted. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll have more for you all very soon. I am actually working on right now some Word of Blake forces to have as part of our campaign that I'm going to be working on. They're actually going to be in the Ill Clan era, which is going to be interesting to say the least. But there are still pockets of Word of Blake forces out there, and I know there's a lot of people who are very into the Word of Blake. For us, because we're going to be playing like mostly clan or probably Steiner or mercenaries or stuff, we're going to have them probably set up as the antagonists, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're evil, because I know a lot of people like to play Word of Blake and have them either be good guys or bad guys or whatever. A lot of people have varying opinions on them. I don't. I like BattleTech just in general as a game, so I really don't. I don't agree or disagree per se. I feel like Ghost Bear is probably the good guys, but there's a lot of people who would probably disagree with that. But when I say Ghost Bear, I say, the original source book Ghost Bear from the FASA and Ralpartha days, way back when, it first came out in the 80s. So, back when they were calm, forward-thinking, family-oriented and family-oriented in the correct ways, not in the ways that so many of us have been led to think. But they care for each other, they protect each other, and they are blood. You know, they work together and they live together, fight together, and die together. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Everybody, be safe, be healthy, and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.